I'm freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is Gianluca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys. Another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. I don't know if you can hear it, but from the acoustic, right now, I'm not broadcasting from my radio show. It's going to be from my studio. I'm exactly in a business in the Golden Valley. But this is not about the business. This is not about where I am. This is about the message I'm going to share with you. Unfortunately, when you become part of the media, and if you want to do it seriously, like I'm trying to do it, I think it is our duty, and I don't think this is unfortunate, this is an honor, honestly, to report the news, to report the facts. But more important, to give both sides of the aisle, the opportunity to share their version of things. Today, I'm going to share something that I think is very important, and it is not a private matter. This is about public. And I'm talking about the public elections, exactly regarding the elections in Mohave County for the sheriff position. As premise, before we go ahead with the show, I want to put a disclaimer out. The disclaimer is that everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And this show, it is not a court of law, but it is just a court of opinions. And every time I bring somebody who has some opinions or allegations on anybody, I give as my duty as member of the media, the other side, the person or the people that they are called in, the opportunity to defend themselves, at least even just in the in the arena of the ideas, because that's what it is about. Now, today we have to talk about something that I wish really I didn't have to, because all the people that I have on this segment, they're people that I know personally. I know him as a business relationship, and some I have them on my show as guest. But this is, as I said, this is not about me. This is not about my personal life. This is about the commitment that I have towards the listeners and towards the truth. And this is exactly what it's come down to. Now, I have a person in front of me that I had him on my show at least a couple of times. His name is David Johnson from Golden Valley. And he has some serious let's say allegations, I think that's pretty much what it's about, against one of the candidates running for Mohave County Sheriff Office. And the candidate in question is Mr. Schuster, that, by the way, I had him on the show. And also his campaign manager, Mr. Jim Liesen, that, by the way, not only I had him on the show, he's been also in my second hours talking about guns with me many times. And as I said, this is not about, anything personal. It is just about if somebody has some serious matters to share to the public, especially when we have a position that is a public position, because I would never put anything like this on the air if it was a private matter. If you have a personal problem, I'm not here to judge. But if you run for office, if you run to become especially a man that's supposed to enforce the law, I think we need to talk about this in public. And all I can say, I hope it's going to be a venue that, of course, is not this one, that everybody's going to get justice that they deserve. At that point, it's going to be, hopefully, whatever will going to happen. Let's see whatever. But my goal here is to just bring both sides. We can bring evidence, or at least the alleged evidence. Now, just to be sure, because this is a radio show, you cannot see all this stuff. You cannot see all these documents. Everything is going to be, if you go to lovegunsfreedom.com, www.lovegunsfreedom.com, on the homepage, it's going to be a link, okay? It's called the Schuster file, okay? This is about Mr. Schuster running for office, okay? And in that page, I will put both sides. I will put both audio, the audio with the allegation from Mr. Johnson, and of course also with the file that I've been receiving and I've been given by Mr. Johnson about this alleged violation of some laws that now we will talk about, coming down to campaign, okay? And also, of course, the version and the facts from Mr. Liesen and from Mr. Schuster. My only goal is to give you, the listeners, the opportunity to read, use your brain, and judge yourself, because this is, as I said, I'm not here to judge anybody. And more important, I want to remind you, I'm not here even to pander for anybody, because I keep my personal preferences as political preferences for myself, so much that, the last 2 years I became an independent. I'm not even anymore a Republican. Now, let me shut up. I'm here, and I have in front of me Mr. David Johnson, and I want to give you the microphone. I will talk less as possible, because now it's like you're talking to the public. I want you to make your case, like you were talking to also Mr. Liesen and Mr. Schuster. So if there is something to say, this is the time.
Well, Luca, I want to thank you for this opportunity. And as a voter here in Mohave County, the campaigns and the elections that I'm voting in, I research and I watch. So I keep track of the names and who's doing what and where they're speaking. And I try to get to every location I can to hear them speak so I can be an educated voter. Well, I was flipping through the AdPay magazine. You may be familiar with it or not. I looked through all of them looking for good deals on stuff, coupons. And I saw an ad for a gentleman running for sheriff, Mr. Schuster, who I've only seen in debates. And it was promoting him for the office of sheriff. And it was from an Apex, a company called Apex Arms, I believe it was. I've got the stuff in front of me here. Promoting him and supporting him in kind with an ad. Well, having been through several elections in the past, I know that people have been smacked on the hands for having corporate sponsorship of campaigns. So being new to Arizona, I've been here a year, I looked it up and I found the laws saying, in fact, no, a corporation cannot make an in-kind donation. Now, I have nothing against either one of these men. I'm just wanting a clean and lawful election, and I want the people who are running to adhere to the same rules and guidelines and regulations that everybody else does. So I contacted the state elections board, and they said, well, the jurisdiction was in the county, which I liked. I like knowing that it's in the county, so I sent copies of it to the Mohave County Sheriff's Office. I received an email back saying that they didn't receive all of it, so I finished it, and now they have everything. And this has been within the last 72 hours, and I've gotten no response on anything being done. But it's allegations and alleged breaking of the law, because I'm not a lawyer. So I contacted a couple lawyers by phone, and they said, yeah, you can't do this. I even posed it as, hey, I own a gun store and I want to donate money to someone and I have a corporation. They said, you can't do that. So I played, devil's advocate. I'm not out to burn anybody. I just want to make sure everybody plays by the same rules. And so I downloaded the law. I downloaded the ads. I even got some frame stores where I believe Mrs. Schuster thanked them for posting the ads, so it wasn't done in ignorance, even though ignorance of the law is no excuse for your regular citizen, much less somebody who used to be a law enforcement officer. And once you decide to run for office, there's a reason I haven't decided to run for office, you need to do all the research, know what the rules, you need to know what playing field you're on, and you have a responsibility to your voters. This isn't a vindictive thing. This isn't because I don't like his policies or whatever. I don't even know the man, and I've only seen him in, I think, 2 debates now, and I have to learn more about all the candidates. But if the evidence is there, I will let better men and women than I decide their guilt. All I'm doing is bringing it to the table.
Now, I have a question. You gave me a photocopy of all these, I think there are 6 pages or so, that, by the way, I would like everybody to read on their own. I'm not even going to go through and read them. Top and terrible reader. Go to lovegunsfreedom.com. On the homepage, you will find the link, and you will see there everything I'm talking about. You will see the copy of the ads on this pay ads advertisement, and there is this copy of this Facebook printout. I don't know how did you get that, but that's great. And then you got also the copy of the law. Now, question is, what exactly says the law? You can read it for me briefly, because, even we are no lawyers, you are no lawyers. I would like to at least, the listeners get curious about the law, because I was curious too, honestly. I had no idea that there was even this law. I want to be honest. That's why, as you said, I don't run for anything, because I'm a regular guy, and probably I shouldn't run for anything. Maybe the only thing I can run is around the block here. But the point is, tell me please a little bit more exactly what is the number of the law. And this is an Arizona law, of course, we're talking about. It's not a federal law. And exactly what it says, if you can, if you have it ready.
Yes, I can. I'm flipping through them here, and I got to blow them up because my eyes are old. And let me bring this. My eyes are old, my body's old. Let me bring it up here. Okay. Let's see. Now, the law that I looked up that I got when I called the state elections board, and I just generally called them. I didn't even make accusations to them. I just was curious about it. It's ARS 16-919. And if you look it up, it says that no corporation can make a donation monetary or in kind. It's right there. Just read the law. Now, if I'm wrong about the interpretation of the law, fine. But there needs to be we as citizens have to be watchdogs. Our elected officials are not our supervisors. We're their bosses. So for me, it just goes to character. If this man didn't do the research, and Mr. Liesen, I found out through the research that he's the campaign coordinator for Mr. Schuster. So I thought that was kind of weird. A campaign coordinator should know these laws. Now, it was just a couple of good friends, in a good old boy network, and they just said, hey, let's run for sheriff, fine. That's up to the judge to decide the penalty. But the law was broken, and ignorance of the law is no excuse. I've stood before magistrates, and I said, I thought the speed limit was 35 through there. And they said, ignorance of the law is no excuse, and I had to pay the fine. So I'm just holding them to the same standard that we are.
And just to understand the gravity, because, honestly, something I learned myself, according to the law, here we're talking about Class 2 misdemeanor and also a Class 6 felony. For whom exactly? How does it work?
Well, Doug Schuster, because he received the payment, is guilty, if found guilty, allegedly, of a Class 6 misdemeanor.
Felony, I guess.
Oh, felony. I keep doing that. It's a Class 6 felony. Now, the person making the donation, Mr. Liesen, is guilty of a second-class misdemeanor.
Allegedly, always.
Allegedly. And what that does is that puts the onus on the man running because the buck stops here. That's why the stiffer penalty, I would imagine, is that he should know. I've never run for office, but I've been involved in campaigns. I was involved heavily in Mary Bono's campaign in California and a few other Treasury and stuff like that. I worked on the campaigns. As soon as people came, and it wasn't, I don't want to use the term illegal, but because it's good intending people, but they haven't done their due diligence. The campaign only said, I'm sorry, we can't take your check. We can take so much from a person, up to a certain amount, but we can take nothing from a corporation.
I want just to play devil's advocate here because I'm just using the logic, okay? Supposedly, there were no money here involved. It was like an advertisement, okay? Yeah. Let's say somebody tomorrow, by accident or without my will, okay, wants to put an ad just because they love me so much, okay? Said Zanna for president, of course, of what? A president of nothing. But the point, let's say for Zanna for something, okay? And that person, just because out of their own good courtesy, and they put that ad out, and I was even aware, okay? Am I still responsible for that?
I believe the courts would find that it is not your responsibility, and for two reasons. One, you don't know the person. You have no understanding of it. But in this case, Jim Liesen is the campaign coordinator, and I have a screen store of his wife thanking him for putting the ad on. So there was knowledge on both sides. Maybe they had no knowledge of the law, but they had knowledge of what was being done, by who, and for why they were doing it. They were doing it to promote a person they think would be great for sheriff. If I had a corporation, I would love to be able to donate thousands and thousands of dollars in ads to elect Luca Zanna, whatever he wants to be. But it's against the law. I can't do it. I have to do it personally, and there's a cash limit and an in-kind limit, that meets it. So, one, the difference from your question, which was an excellent question, by the way, how do somebody just out there handing out bumper stickers that they spent their money on? You don't know. They had prior knowledge of this. They know each other. The man who perpetrated the act of putting the ad in is the campaign coordinator. And the guy who accepted it, his wife, posted up there and it's in the evidence that you'll see. And it's just, and I'm not trying to be mean to them. I'm not trying to, they broke the law, and just like the rest of us, we have to work it out. It's up to a judge.
I always like to say, allegedly we broke the law because so far as I say, what do you really now? What is your final goal? What is your expectations? I mean, you to contact the sheriff, and what do you expect now next?
An investigation, and if I'm wrong, I'll come on your show and apologize and say I misinterpreted the law. I'm just a regular Joe.
Okay.
But what I want is maybe we won't have a friendly race. I've seen some of the races going on in the county here, and quite frankly, I feel like I'm back in Chicago or somewhere else, the way they're slinging mud at each other. But if we can't have a clean race, at least we'll have a lawful and just race. That's all I'm asking for.
I think, what you're doing, regardless, it's good that you keep your interest. And as I said, it's the duty of every citizen to be aware, to be informed. And I tell you, through this show, I'm learning so much because some stuff I didn't know, like this specific campaign law. I mean, I knew that there were some limitations. I knew that corporations could not do that, but I didn't know also the gravity, I must be honest, something that I'm learning myself. As I said, this is not a trial. This is everything we're talking about here. It is just reporting somebody's opinion. And of course, all we want to talk about is to have an opportunity to at least a forum to talk. And I hope we can get to a point that everything is going to be clear. And how you do that? That's why normally we're supposed to live in a republic, that we have a due process, that we have at least people that they are elected to, like third parties, like, neutral parties, to go through this, investigate. That's, I think, the most important thing. We keep it civil. That's the idea. Now, I want to give you, because after you, I'm going to have, hopefully, and I think I will, Mr. Liesen and also Schuster. I will give them exactly the same time to answer to your point. Now, since this is recorded, okay, unfortunately we cannot have it today like live, but I want to give you this microphone, like you can talk directly to them, like we were in this room, and a message, whatever you want to say to them about this matter.
Well, first off, I just want to say, I mean no harm to their families or to shame them or anything. As a citizen, I just demand that if we're held to the law, then so shall be our elected officials, especially for sheriff. And secondly, I want the other candidates to know that if I find something on any candidate, I live in District 4. I care about District 4. That's what I watch. If any one of those candidates were to do the same thing, I would do the same thing. I would do my research. I have an investigative background. And I will pass it over to the authority that I was told to pass it over to by the state level regulatory system here for elections. And if I'm wrong, that's fine. But how can I, as an honest voter, see something that triggers, this might not be kosher, and not do something about it? Too many people today just look the other way. We see, I made the joke about Chicago, but look at all the times, that election fraud, voter fraud, and people do nothing about it. I sit there and scream at the TV. I couldn't sleep at night if I found something, again, like this on any candidate that I'm going to be voting for, because that's who I focus on. I don't have time to do others.
I think this is a healthy thing, honestly, my humble opinion. And of course, I'm sorry that Jim Liesen and Schuster has to go through this. But regardless, this is not about the person, this is about the process. The fact that we have an opportunity, even through this humble radio show, to talk about this in a civil way and to bring facts. And I tell you, I think the worst thing would be that there are things that maybe they are not clear and people can always say, hey, but I thought that you were doing. No, we want things clear. And if somebody is innocent, deserved for sure to be called innocent all the way and to be proven innocent. That's the bottom line. Of course, remember, here we have a system that so we are all innocent until proven guilty, and the burden of the proof differently from other systems, like, for example, in Europe or in Mexico, like there is called the Napoleonic system, that the state doesn't have to prove anything. You have to prove that you are innocent. So in this case, if there is the party of the state, they need to prove beyond at least doubts that there is no crime. At that point, all I can say, I'm glad that we're talking about this in a civil way, and I really hope now in the next segment that you listeners don't go away. I'm going to have Jim Liesen and hopefully maybe even a little bit of Mr. Schuster. And I won't talk much. I'm just holding the microphone. That's all I do. And you can share your different opinions. And then at that point, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm here just to report the facts. Now, before we go away, as you know, this show, it's about freedom of speech. And I do not beg corporate sponsors, because otherwise I could even do what I'm doing here. I want to remind you, if you want to support this show, it's very simple. All you have to do, there are different ways. Go, for example, to zanaart.com, or maybe you can get some of my coffee, zanacoffee.com. In this way, we can talk about everything we want, and we have no chain in our mouth or on our mouth. We don't have chains in our mouth. Anyway, that's the bottom line. Now, a little break, and we go back to the next guest that hopefully is going to be Mr. Liesen from Apex Firearms.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman. I'm not afraid. And a constitutional activist. I'm not afraid. Italian by birth. I'm not afraid. American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. or download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys. This is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is the first hour. As I said, for me, this is a very important moment because, I know these people. I know all of them. I know Jim very well. Jim Liesen has been on my show many times, and I consider him a great guy, seriously. So, but this is not impersonal. This is not me taking any side. As I said, the day I took this commitment to be on the air, and of course, I'm not a news reporter. I'm just a commentator and I have my opinions, okay? But regardless, I also try to bring you facts. And when I bring you facts here, I take no side. My only side is the truth. In this situation, I have no idea because I'm no judge. This is not me judging anybody. All I can do, though, I can offer to everybody who has real concerns when it comes down to public matters. Because this is not about Mr. Schuster or Mr. Liesen in their private lives. I couldn't care less. This is about somebody out there, a citizen, a concerned citizen, who took the time to do some researches, and according to his logic, according to the way he reads the law, he has some questions. And that's why all I wanted to do, give him the microphone, of course, and now I would like to give the time, the same time that I gave to Mr. David Johnson in the first part of the first hour, to talk about exactly Mr. Liesen, who is also the campaign manager for Mr. Schuster, for county sheriff. He can say pretty much whatever he wants. Now, let me first of all introduce Jim. Jim, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you. Normally we talk about guns. You always be on my show, and we always talk about the second hour. It's the fun hour. This is unfortunately, it's not really fun, but I'm sorry. This is my job, and I'm glad that you are here with me because I want to give you the opportunity to say whatever you want. First of all, did you have a chance to listen to Mr. David Johnson points during the first part of the hour?
I did.
And his allegations, they are pretty serious. I mean, as I said, I was even aware myself of some of these laws, but it seems like he has some serious allegations. Now, I will shut up, and I will give you the floor, and you can say, answering to Mr. Johnson points, everything you want. You go.
Well, thank you very much, Luca. And as you know, I'm a man of several hats. As Jim Liesen, I'm a citizen of Mohave County, where I certainly support the best person running for sheriff, which I believe is Doug Schuster. I'm also the campaign chairman for the Schuster for Sheriff campaign, and I'm also the owner of Apex Arms LLC, which is a corporation in Arizona. And I'd like to state the following, wearing the singular hat of campaign manager today. And as the campaign manager of the committee, I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention, as we're very committed to running an honest and clean campaign. I think you'll notice that at no time have we or any of us, or even Doug Schuster, attacked or slung mud at any of the other candidates, and nor will we. We prefer to tout the reasons why our candidate, Mr. Schuster, is the best person for the safety and the highest constitutional law officer of the county of Mohave as sheriff. And based on the alleged allegation brought forth by, I believe it's David Johnson?
Mr. David Johnson, yes.
David, yeah. It'd be inappropriate to comment at this time other than the following. We agree that fair and honest campaigning is vital to a successful campaign, and we strive to be the best example of diligence and performance, not politics, in this campaign and in dealing with these campaign rules. And I certainly do appreciate the time to talk about why Schuster is the best person for the job of sheriff. And again, I want to thank you for notifying of this allegation.
Okay, that was it.
In a nutshell, yeah.
Yes,
There's really nothing else we can say. We're anxious to see the whatever allegation comes from, and we'll act accordingly.
Okay, very good. As I said, I'm here. I'm not tell you what to say. Of course, I would never dare even to think that. I wanted just to give you the equal time, if there was, of course, needed this equal time, because if that's all you have to say regarding the concern of these allegations, let's put it, it's not even a concern. That's a pure, real allegations of Mr. David Johnson. We can pretty much, that's all you have to say. That's enough with me. Now, I'm not going to ask you any more questions at this point because this is your official statement. Now, I don't know what you want to talk about. I got you down. I had you down for 20 minutes. Now you put me a little bit off guard, but that's okay. I mean, I can do other things. I have so many news I want to do. Any other thing you want to say about anything related without going to, because I already I give the time to Mr. Schuster, And by the way, speaking about Mr. Schuster, he's welcome to be on my show. I'm sure you talked to him about that. I didn't directly call him because I thought you, as the campaign manager, communicating this information that I was communicating to you, is aware of all this, correct? Just to double check.
Yes, he was. I spoke to him last night in anticipation of hopefully getting him to be here as well. Unfortunately, he's out campaigning in the northern end of our county right now.
Okay.
So he couldn't commit because he was going to be in the car. And you probably know as well as anybody that the cell phone service in our northern county area is difficult.
Yeah.
In fact, all the communications in our county are difficult. In fact, that's one of the stone marks or the hallmarks of our campaign. Is that Sheriff Schuster, since he's been the only person running who has active and full duty as an actual deputy for over 20 years, he's aware of these communications issues and really wants to help fix the communication problems within the deputy's realm. All their communications are outdated, and he wants to get that fixed so that they can act safer.
All right, Jim.
But he's out there having a hard time with his cell phone service, so he could not be here today.
I understand. So no problem. Anyway, he's welcome to be here if he wants to answer. Now, you don't have to answer, but since I got you here, and I understand, my only question is one. And as I said, this is my personal question. And you don't have to, I'm not going to get mad if you say, I cannot answer, I play my fifth or whatever. I'm nobody, okay? I'm not here playing judge or doing anything. But just for curiosity, this advertisement that I saw on AdsPay, okay? There was, I forgot the date. Anyway, it's there. April 2016. It said, Apex Arm supports Schuster for sheriff. And there is a beautiful, a quarter of a page or something like that. That was your ad or not? Sometimes people can do anything. People could be anybody doing an ad. I don't know. Of course, easy to find out.
Apex Arms is a corporation, a limited liability corporation, and Apex Arms paid for that ad.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty much. As I said, I'm no lawyer. I'm not here to interpret the law, and more important, even the lawyer, all they have is really public opinion. At this point, I really think, as I said, my only goal is to give both sides the opportunity to communicate about this issue. You made your point today. Mr. Johnson made his point the first part of the hour. And at that point, I would like to say that all this is public because, this is not a private matter. So I will put on lovegunsfreedom.com. I repeat again, www.lovegunsfreedom.com, a link on the homepage that is going to be public. This interview, first of all, because everybody can listen. Of course, it's going to be on the air this Sunday. Probably people that are listening right now, it's being recorded. And also they can see, let's say, these allegations, let's put it in this way. And then at that point, my job was done because all I say at this point, every citizen must read the law. Every citizen must ask questions. It's our duty, as I said before. And then at that point, there are every different type of ways to. We are not here to make our own laws. I mean, that's why we have a system that we should be try to comply. We'll see. And I really hope. This is my prayer. I tell you, Jim, I don't know you as well as I wish, but I know you enough. We've been on the air for probably a couple of years back and forth. I hope all this is going to go behind, and if you done nothing wrong, you will be vindicated in that way, because that's all I can pray, because I don't want, my worst concern would be when somebody doesn't want to face the situation, and there is always this back rumor, or back rumors, that for me, they're very damaging my mindset. I don't like to have people that talk to me behind, he did something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong, and if there is somebody to say, let's spell it out, let's clear it out now. So that's my only prayer I have for you and for Schuster, okay?
I very much appreciate that. And like I said before, I really appreciate the time to talk about retired Sergeant Schuster. And this allegation, as you say, and as I agree, is quite serious, important, and needs to be hashed out appropriately.
Okay.
At this time, we haven't seen the formal accusation. We're behind the curve that way.
Yeah.
And until we do, we really can't comment on it.
I understand, and probably
we look very much forward to it once all that's hashed out. Absolutely.
Very good. Listen, at this point, a wonderful day. Say to Schuster if he wants to be here and finish up. You still have, at least another 10 minutes.
I was going to say we probably have a few minutes left, don't we?
Yeah, but to be fair, I don't want to use this time to. I don't want to use the word. is it?
It shouldn't be a free advertising seminar,
No,
because then you'd have to let everybody do
yeah,
the same thing.
I mean, this was about
The
exactly.
forum is one thing, but individuals doing one after the
My
next.
only
after
point
the
was
next, after the next is terrible.
this segment was about this specific topic. I gave to Mr. Schuster like 1 solid hour, like I gave to other 2 candidates 1 solid hour about this, and I would give everybody who wants to be. I don't care which party you are. If you want to be here, and you get the same treatment. I don't know if you heard the interview with Schuster. By the way, did you like the interview I did to your guy Schuster?
Well, I listen to all of the ones that you do. I think they're all important and good, and I think that our county residents should get very active in this campaign. There's a lot of people that just don't have much law enforcement experience. There's a lot of people that don't understand the job. There's a lot of people who have very good experience, but not the experience that I think we need in this position. And I think it's very important that we listen directly to those candidates for as much as possible to make the most informed decision. That's why I'm into this race. That's why I support who I support.
Very good. Anyway, as I said, this is the hour I wanted to do more about these allegations. And of course, if anybody else wants to be on the show, that, by the way, as I said, there are people that they're running. I think there is a gentleman from Bullhead, and I'm sure about it, that I had him on the show. He had not any type of, let's say, law enforcement experience. But I tell you something, I want to be honest, and, Mr. Plow, you say Plow, help me out, Jim, is it Plow? What is this?
I've heard it several ways, but I've never met the man directly, so
anyway,
I'm not sure.
Plow. Anyway, sorry if you listen. I know I probably am destroying your last name. But anyway, it seemed like, regardless does he have any type of background, and of course, I'm not endorsing him, okay? As I said, I do not endorse anybody on the show. But the point is, I really believe that the sheriff, my opinion, of course, the sheriff position, as much as, of course, we need to have people who has brain up there and understand how to manage all these organization, I think the most important thing also is a constitutional sheriff who should have the opportunity to be anybody, even from the civilian world, because I believe really that we're supposed to be peace officers as sheriff. What do you think? You look at the sheriff as a law enforcement person or as a peace officer? What is your opinion?
Well, I think in both categories, he's the highest law enforcement officer, and constitutionally speaking, he's the highest law enforcement officer in the land. The difference is he's elected. When Schuster's elected sheriff, he'll be elected, but he also is a law enforcement officer. So there's 2 hats to wear with both of that moniker. And like you say, anyone can be elected to that office. So it's an important distinction. And that's why it's so important. It's not just, I want to be dog catcher, not to belittle dog catchers, but if the feds come running, or if something comes over where there's a constitutional crisis, there has to be a buck stopping somewhere. That buck has to stop with someone specifically instead of a committee. That's what the job of sheriff is for. That's why it's so important that we pay attention to these things.
Yeah, I agree with you, and this is really important. So I think it's probably one of the most important elections we're going to face, because you know very well, 2016, regardless who president is going to be, it's just that's the final puppet on top. Of course, there's some extreme, we know very well that if we go straight to Hillary or Bernie, it's going to be a complete straight black and white, okay? But regardless, I still believe that, unfortunately, all these 3 letters organizations, agencies, okay, most of them unconstitutional, they're still going to be there. All the bureaucrats, they're going to still be there. So no matter what president really is going to be, this is a huge apparatus of bureaucracy that is still going to harass us and operate outside the Constitution and trying to come after our lives. So I really believe this is the election that we must be educated ourselves and to see exactly who's going to be, at least on paper, because nobody really knows. I think
you're right. I have to agree. This is why it's so important that we elect someone who understands their job and their role as sheriff in our county, as well as the constitutionality of it. And that's why we need to pick someone with strong moral character and a basis and value system that works for us, not for someone else.
I agree. Now, the last question I have, and this is not going to be concerned about this case that we already said, we wait and you made your statement. Did you heard, I say that because I interviewed Sheriff Mack in the past. I had him on my show. And what I'm saying here, it doesn't mean that I endorse anybody. This is about Sheriff Mack endorsement. Are you familiar with the Sheriff Richard Mack, the former sheriff from Graham County?
Yes, I am.
What do you think about him endorsing, or at least having an officially endorsed Corey Merriman as a constitutional sheriff. Did you ever get approached, or did you ever have a chance to, I don't know, to think about to approach Sheriff Mack to ask for his endorsement?
Well, speaking as the campaign committee chairman of the Schuster for Sheriff campaign,
Yes.
I can tell you that I have not met Sheriff Mack. I respect and I like him. I've seen him on I think I've seen him on TV. If not, I've seen him referred to on TV, but I've certainly heard him on the radio numerous times in many different venues. He's quite the constitutional guy. And I think our hat tip to Corey Merriman for getting his endorsement, and congratulations to her for doing that. The beauty of our campaign system is that we have a lot of very important people paying attention to Mohave County. He happens to be one of them. And she went after it. She's been in this campaign for well over a year, and she's laid a lot of groundwork. And I have to admit, in some ways, we feel like we're playing catch-up.
Question.
So my congratulations to her for bagging that bear as it is.
Question. Why don't you, I mean, after all, I think it's fair to ask. If I was running, I would ask, if I agree, of course, with Sheriff Mack background, and I do. I mean, this is, for me, Sheriff Mack is, I wish we had him as a sheriff, honestly. But regardless, if I was your guy, I would like to ask for the endorsement. Why don't you ask him for? I mean, why not?
That would be up to retired Deputy Sergeant Schuster to go ask for it, and that would be up to him to do so.
Okay. Don't you think would be, I mean, you as a campaign manager, don't you think would be a good move? I mean, why not? If, at least have a chance.
I don't disagree at all. Like I said, there's a lot of endorsements to be had, and he happens to be one of them. So I'm sure he's on a long list of people we'd like to talk to.
Okay, I want to be fair. You know, I just mentioned the other candidate, Corey Merriman, endorsed by Sheriff Mack. Now, give me one endorsement that we can brag about it right now on the air about Mr. Schuster. Who is the latest endorsement you got? Come on.
Oh, I'm not prepared to answer that, but I will tease you with this. We are looking forward to and proofing some very large advertising with very long lists in all the various advertising things you'll see out there, the various newspapers and so forth.
Okay.
With a very long and distinguished list.
Okay, so when you have the I would like at least hope, since I was the first one to break these not good news, but news to you, you know, as a respect. I hope you can give me the heads up and maybe be the first one to put it out on the air, don't you?
I will make note of that and absolutely include you on that list. Absolutely.
All right, man. Listen, thank you very much, Jim. I appreciate it. And keep me posted. As I said, you know, you still had another probably 10 minutes at least for your time, okay?
We appreciate that, and like they say in Congress, we yield to the rest of our time, and we look forward to that. Thank you very much, Luca.
All right, very good. Okay, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We look at Zan, a little break, and then we go back to close up this story for now, and we have more news, and of course the second hour. Don't go away.
Open your soul to
And that was a State of Mind, musical lyrics by myself, Gianluca Zanna. Now, this is the first part of today's show. I know maybe sound for many of my listeners probably out there. I am so humble. I found out I have listeners from Scotland, from Australia, Italy. Why do you really care about what's going on in Mohave County, Arizona, in the elections of Mohave County Sheriff? Probably you don't. But the point is, it's not about this specific election. Maybe for us, of course, in Mohave County, it is very important. This is about the principle. It's about how the people, especially in America, we have the duty to be vigilant. Now, I'm not taking any side. As I said, I'm here as a microphone. I want to give to everybody the same opportunity. If somebody brings me some concerns, they're documented, and not about their personal life. I'm talking about their public life. If there was something in their personal life, let's say if you're running for priest, you don't run for priest, but let's say you said that you are a moral guy, and then you're going around screwing around little kids, yeah, we have a problem. Or if you're going to cheat on your wife, we have a problem. So that's my point. If you're running for sheriff, I really believe you're supposed to be above the average person. I would never go into your personal life, but if you're running for sheriff, if there is something in your personal life that would pretty much create a conflict of interest with the character that you should have as integrity, that's the point. Now, I said these allegations, they are allegations. In America, everybody is and should be innocent until proven guilty. But as I said, I'm not here as a judge, but what I said, I have given the microphone after I reviewed the evidence, me not being a lawyer, but just I think this is the credible argument that Mr. David Johnson brought to my attention. Is my duty as a media to share with you. And that's why I posted on lovegunsfreedom.com. You can go to the homepage, lovegunsfreedom.com. You will see a photo at the top right with a link directly about this matter with the allegations regarding Apex Firearms and the candidate Schuster running for sheriff. And as I said, to many of my listeners out there that they are out this county or out of the state, they may say, I don't care, but you should care. I tell you why. Because this is exactly, we can show how we can take this country back. Be involved. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying that David Johnson is right, because I don't know. I can read the law. I can see the evidence. I may say, it doesn't look that great. Let's put it this way. But that's why we have court of law. That's why we have, hopefully, a system that's supposed to do this in a professional way, verifying if somebody broke the law. And this is not just like breaking the law, like, you cross the red light or you didn't have your seat belt. Of course, red light is pretty dangerous. You can danger other people, but there are laws and laws. This is about something more important. I believe, when it comes down to a public campaign for county sheriff, we should have the right sheriff. More important, we should have the sheriff that people really want. And also, nobody should cheat. That's the bottom line. And this is my only job, to report the facts. Now, I'm glad that Mr. Liesen was on this part. He said what he has to say. Honestly, I was hoping he was going to say more. But at that point, that's his, I'm not going to tell him what to say. He says what he says. Maybe he should even come here. I don't know. But I'm glad at least he was, cordial and to be here after he told me that he was going to be here. But all I want you listeners, my only goal is to bring you the facts. Document yourself. Go to lovegunsfreedom.com, check it out. Let's just wait that the system does its job. That's all I ask. And I really hope, seriously, I hope that, I know Jim. I met him in person too. And Schuster, I never really spent time with him, but I don't know much about him. But the point is, I hope it was a mistake. I hope there was no law broken, because I don't enjoy when somebody break the law. Seriously, I don't. Okay? But at the same time, as I said many times, when I come behind this microphone, I put the truth first, before even my personal friendships. That's why you're never going to listen to me. I'm never going to go on this show using this microphone to push anybody or endorse anybody. I report the facts. That's it. I keep my personal, of course, opinion. If you ask me an opinion, I'll give you my opinion. But I'm not going to, drum it over this over and over. All I say, bring in the facts, I share the facts. That's it. Even if we disagree, I don't care. Okay, and I've proven to you already in the past. And I don't want to repeat myself. When it came down to Mohave County business, I put my personal friendship aside. When it was down with County Sheriff Sheenan, I put my personal relationship, at least, we had really good, close relationship. When all the accident happened, the county property, I was not allowed to pass out the flyer with the voting record set on McCain. Guess what? The day, I'm sorry, I could not see anymore Sheriff Sheenan, the same eyes I was seeing before. And I had no problem to say that and to do and accordingly do what I did. Anyway, that's the point, guys. So, Mr. Liesen, Jim, wish you well. I hope you can bring clarity, okay? I want clarity, seriously. And not say that mistake cannot be done. Everybody can make mistake. Nobody's perfect. But if the mistake was done, this is not a private mistake. I think it must be addressed in a public way, and it must be done right. Same story with Mr. Schuster, and same story with Mr. Johnson, David. After all, Johnson is just bringing some allegations. Let's see now what the DA or the county attorney is going to find out, and I'll let you know as I found out. And I hope, as I said before, that nothing really is going to happen, or at least nothing was done. I want something to happen. I want to say yes or no with evidence and proofs. That's it. Now, let's move on. New business. This hour is about freedom, and sometimes it's really sad when I see the federal government, especially this administration, with this individual. I refuse to call him president. I wouldn't give him even the leash on my dog, and I wouldn't allow my dog to be, walking outside with this man when he goes to pee. Seriously, this man is a I don't even know if he's a man. I really start to believe he's a devil, or at least he's some sort of an hybrid. But the sad thing is the people that they follow him still 8 years later. I'm talking about Obama, of course. Now we have the White House. Very well, they all try to separate us with the minor little things. For example, the only thing they still can somehow recruit some zombies, it is about this agenda to completely destroy morally this country. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here as a saint, I'm not a priest, I'm not a holy man, I am the biggest sinner you can find around, okay? I'm not a moral guy. I wish to be a little better, but I'm a regular guy. Let's put it this way. I'm not bad, but I'm not perfect. But now you have a man with a group of people behind having an agenda to destroy us completely, even the basic foundation, the basic logic, 101 common sense logic that they want to impose to all of us sexual preferences. As I said on this show, I don't care who you are. You can be a man, a woman, or between. That's your business. If you want to have a relationship with 6 women or 6 men, good for you. Two things I'd ask you though. I suppose not to pay for your condoms. I suppose to pay for your pills. And for sure, you shouldn't do not this in front of me. You should not impose your morality or your sexuality in front of me. Do it in the privacy of your home, and you can do pretty much whatever you want, of course, with the condition that there is no violence. Everybody's consent and over 18. That's fine. It's okay. So, not talking to Mr. Bigot here. Couldn't care less. When people start to bring out a situation, I want a same-sex marriage, you idiot. So you want a license also for yourself, so we're all slaves. But that's another story, I already talked about that. The point now is this bathroom, this sort of complete travesty, should even be an argument. Unfortunately, it's becoming so real that the federal government, now, they're challenging the states that they try to defend themselves and try to defend, more important, the business rights, the property rights of the business owners who refuse to allow in the same bathroom, for example, let's say you have a bathroom for ladies. Now a man, just because he can claim, hey, I feel today that I'm a woman, he can go jump in the bathroom and unzip his little zipper, in front of your daughter or your wife. Are you kidding me? Seriously. I mean, this is pure insanity. Pure insanity. I mean, we are facing trillions of dollars of debt that is completely impossible to repay. We are facing, my gosh, whatever we can think about it,
problems from economic turmoils. We have wars, rumors of wars. We are close to World War III. We got things that they're so serious. And now the federal government is main, focus is to go after businesses and, of course, states who try to put some common sense. First of all, no, you are a man. I don't care if you think you're a woman. You still have something between your legs, and you still have, you don't tell me that crap that you're allowed now to sit next to my wife or to my daughter in the same bathroom, and maybe I hope that you behave as a woman. Yes, right. Where are the men? Seriously. In 50 years, 60 years, we became a nation of complete, I don't want to use the word. I should. Can I use? Spineless? That's the good version. And when I say fags, I'm not trying to say in a bad way. Because you can be a fag, you can be a person that, like other men. I have no problem with that. When I say fag, I mean a person that has no balls. Has no more, with this type of generation, we would already be here speaking Japanese right now, for God's sake, seriously. Are we still completely drunk of this politically correctness? Or maybe the hormones that you, testosterone, I wish it was testosterone, this estrogen that you eat 3 times a day with your burger, on your milk full of hormones, on the BPA plastic bag that you're drinking. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you completely became another human being. We need to stand up. Seriously, this is coming to a new point. So anyway, now we have this little puppet, empty suit puppet, what is his name? Press Secretary, White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest invoked the civil rights battles of past generations in states. The past are pretty much, is comparing the states that are opposing this Obama crap about the same sex bathroom to civil rights. Are you kidding me? This is just about completely brainwashing a nation, completely neutering a nation. As I said many times, if you have a problem with what I said, that's fine. But the point here, we have also another very important point. It's called property, private property. And I am not your slave. I'm not working for you. This is my business. I have the right to make or lose money the way I like. So I should set the rules in my own freaking business. And if I do not accept in my business, men or women go into the men's bathroom, it's the same. It's my freaking business. And you, government, you are not my master. And so you, if you don't like what I do, go to buy somewhere else. Simple as that. That would be number 1 solution. But number 2, are you freaking crazy? Seriously. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care whatever party you are. Now, picture yourself, your little 6 years old or 7 years old or even 40 or even 9-year-old lady minding her business at the toilet in the little public bathroom for ladies. And out of the blue, you got Freaky Joe that maybe, I don't know, woke up in the morning and he had the revelation that now he's a woman. Guess what? He can walk around and he can zip out, his little thing between his legs and I'm a woman. And that's just for the shock level. Imagine the guy start to do other things. Seriously. Come on, guys. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. It's supposed to be about you have a brain or you are complete a zombie. Simple as that. Now, if you're offended what I said before about fags, I'm sorry. As I said, I couldn't care less, number 1. Number 2, this is not about fags. It's about being spineless. By the way, I know a lot of homosexual people, or whatever you want to call yourself. They have a lot of integrity. They have a lot of balls. They have much more common sense than some of the activists that they try to talk for all of you. That's the point. That's the point. I had guests on my show. They are considered openly homosexual and they live together. I have no problem. And these guys, they're great. Not because we have the same political opinion, but because they use their brain. They're not crazy. Okay? And I respect them. Seriously, I don't care I'm not here to judge their moral choices. I'm not God, I'm not a priest. And, I don't even believe priests should judge others. Okay? Let the job to God. Okay? I'm here. Live my life. You live your life. We respect each other. That's it. I tell you, we need everybody here. And I hope more people in the community homosexual community or whatever community you want to call yourself start to stand up and say, you know what, clowns at the White House, we are not this stupid. Don't tell us this crap that is about civil rights. You know, Martin Luther King, I think if he will be still around, he would probably throw up. I hope so. I mean, comparing this to civil rights. Anyway, that's the second part. Now, ready for hour number 2. It's going to be about guns. I tested the Freedom rifle, the Don't Trade on Us rifle. Incredible news and deals. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, where freedom of speech is really free. But you know what? You got to help me out. Go to zannaart.com. zannaart.com. Incredible t-shirts there. Free shipping. Look up, speak up. Slaves are never armed. I'm not a slave. Check it out. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best.